Subaru's largest SUV gets a few changes, and the best one is what we got today from Subaru of North Tampa, the 2022 Subaru Ascent in the Onyx black trim with the ice silver metallic. Subaru's largest SUV finally receives that package with the XT trim, only available in a 7-passenger configuration. The sporty all-wheel drive adds a panoramic sunroof, the captain chairs for the second row, spill-resistant seats, silver carbon fiber styling inside, with your competition like your Volkswagen Atlas, your Honda Pilot, or the Ford Explorer. Which one is going to be better with accommodations on the interior and with the exterior styling? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. We're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new Subaru Ascent Onyx Black starts off on the fascia, giving us a polish on that grille, protruding the Subaru badging. And this is the largest SUV Subaru makes. Steering response, LED headlamps and LED fog lamps. Working down the lower bit is going to have this golf ball texture that's going to be on your air vents on the side with the gloss black in between, and around the whole front and the center with that golf ball texture. The reason why I like and stress this is because it's paying attention to detail. Subaru's known clearance at 8.7 inches, so this is going to be the best in class comparing it against the rivals. It's going to have that wide stance at 76.1 inches and a height at 71.6 inches. A long flat hood with a little bit of aerodynamics that tapers into the fenders. The golf ball texture will surround these 20-inch 6 double-spoke black finish alloy wheels. The disc reading behind it at 13.1 inches. It's ventilated. The rear is at 13 inches. Ventilated as well. 4-wheel independent suspension, a raised McPherson front strut suspension, a double wishbone rear suspension. Both will have your stabilizer bar, electronic brake force distribution, active torque vectoring. The Onyx Edition is going to add black to all of the window aesthetics, which I like this because now you're giving some cues. You receive the golf ball texture on the lower trim as well, so that way it doesn't hurt. Whenever you're getting in, if God forbid someone kicks it, you're not going to scratch it. You get the gloss black and the matte black on the mirror caps. I do wish this was a full gloss black just to give a little bit of a different to the look. A length at 196.8 inches, a wheelbase at 113.8 inches. This one will not be the longest that will go to the Volkswagen Atlas. So interior space, which you'll see in just a little bit, may have a little bit different in the dimensions, but the best part about it, you still have a sexy, boxy styling, raised roof rails. You could fit almost 200 pounds on top of these things. And it goes into a raised roof spoiler, the gloss black. Your tail lamps wrap around with the chrome that's going to surround and go underneath the badging, and I actually like the way that setup is because now we're emphasizing luxury into the rear. Blacked out badging, the Onyx Edition comes into play. The lower bit is going to finish off the wraparound for that golf ball texture, which again, this is a great thing. I wish a lot of the automotive industry would do this, because whenever you're going into your cargo, which you'll see in a second, you can easily scratch the bumper. You got the bumper protector and you got this golf ball texture. You don't have to worry about your paint, your reverse camera. You have your reverse parking sensors, dual exhaust outlets, which gives that good styling to the Subaru line. Towing up to 5,000 pounds, which the Explorer will be the best in this category, but this is still on point with the rest of everybody else. Power liftgate will be standard on the Onyx, going into 17.8 cubic feet of storage. With the 12 volt, there's storage underneath the floor, and you can put your cargo cover. The third row bench splits. That's going to increase your cargo to 43.5 cubic feet. Fold those captain chairs down to max it at 75.6 cubic feet. This is not going to be the most in cargo space, but like I was saying, this is also almost the smallest amongst all of the rivals. The largest SUV Subaru makes, the Ascent with the Onyx Edition, giving the black exterior package more or less, keeps a styling cue, that ruggedness, but yet a boxy styling with some luxury, and they back the performance with a 2.4-liter turbocharged boxer flat 4 engine paired to a Lineartronic CVT that mimics a 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 20 to 26 mpgs with a 0 to 60 at 6.9 seconds, quarter mile at 15.4 seconds, stopping 70 to 0 at 178 feet. This equates to being better in the performance than the Volkswagen Atlas. It's going to be right around the same, maybe a little less than the other competition. However, you get that rugged styling plus some luxury amenities. And I mean, almost 200 pounds you could put on top of the roof rails. That's insane. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Subaru Ascent Onyx Edition as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Subaru Ascent Onyx Edition, you're going to receive 41.3 inches of headroom, which is going to be more than Ford. 42.2 inches of legroom, that's more than Honda and Volkswagen. Gray StarTech upholstery, 8-way power adjustment for the driver, manual adjustment for the passenger with silver stitching. Because we have the Onyx Edition, it's going to have a heated steering wheel and heated seats. That's going to be standard. A flat dash with the carbon fiber pattern inlays on the passenger side. Just like the Outback, you have a storage tray. You're going to get that silver stitching that's going to come over the top. The top screen that's going to be sitting is an informational screen. That'll tell you how many miles you have till empty and your average MPGs. Working down, you have an 8-inch Starlink multimedia touchscreen with navigation. So we do have the pinch. And we have the swipe. When you click into the home button, you can see all the apps in which we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Pandora, AM, FM, Bluetooth connectivity. Put it to reverse. You do have a 180-degree camera with full trajectory and your reverse backup assistance, which basically will come to a stop for you if it senses something in its way. Try climate control settings down low, storage tray area here that you could put almost an iPad. You have your cup holders. This is the best part. 19 total and bottle holders all together inside this vehicle. That is insane. You can fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle. I'd say a 32 ounce is pretty good. Elbows are going to be a little bit sporty, a little bit luxurious. It's more towards the luxury, but with a little bit of firmness. Open up inside, and it's a pretty wide and deep storage with a storage tray on top. The gear knob will be leather wrapped with your steering wheel. That's leather, multi-function, heated like we said, paddle shifters. The gauge cluster, it has a digital readout and an array of information for the driver. Subaru EyeSight is not going to be too difficult to move your rear view mirror, which I do like that because in some models it is a little tight. Door panel, it's going to get some harder, but it's still kind of soft materials. That carbon fiber design inlays, one touch up and down for all the windows. The front windows are dual pane, so it's going to make it a little bit more quiet. I like the raised armrest and the storage, like we said, 19 cup and bottle holders, which is crazy. You got a panoramic moonroof, if I can get it to open. There we go. And it's going to go all the way to the back seats. Let's see what it looks like. For the second row, I'm at 40 inches of headroom, 38.6 inches of legroom, which is going to be more than the Volkswagen and the Honda. You can also recline these seats. They recline pretty far back, and you wouldn't be able to really sit in the third row as you see. You can also move these forward, which is probably the area that I'm going to be sitting in the back, but you can see you can easily fit 2 adults my size here at this dimensions, and probably, we'll see here in a second, for the third row. Elbows are going to be soft here because this is adjustable and it's super soft. On the door panel, it's going to be a little bit more firm. You do have your third climate control, 2 USB ports and cup holders here in the center that you can easily fit, I would say, a 32-ounce cup. I do like that we have the air vents on the ceiling because you can feel the air circulating all around you. Door panel, harder materials. You do have an area for a cup holder. I would say a 20-ounce bottle is max, 16.9 ounce fits without any issues. The raised armrest does help, especially if you have to sit forward. And storage on the lower, I would say you can fit another 3 to 4 16.9 ounce water bottles. But you know, sitting in the middle or the second row is never the problem on these larger or mid to large SUVs. Let's see how I look in the back. Sitting into the third row, 36.2 inches of headroom, 31.7 inches of legroom. It's going to be the smallest in the third row. really this is going to be because it's not the longest amongst the competition. The air vent that's in the ceiling here is actually affecting me because it's blowing like right into my ear. You can recline these seats back, and that actually helps alleviate that problem quite a bit. Cup holders on the side, you can fit at least two 16.9 ounce water bottles in an area that you can kind of sort of fit a smaller cell phone. The windows are pretty large, so there's no claustrophobic feel, especially with the panoramic moonroof. It really has a lot of light inside. It's just, if you don't sit this way, meaning you have the seat all the way back, it's almost impossible for me to sit. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom, still not necessarily an issue. Legroom, it just depends on the way the seats are. The good thing is these are captain seats, so you can stretch out your legs like this if you're tall like me, and if you have it reclined, it's great, just there's not going to be any cargo space. But if you fold the seats back like this, fitting three, yeah, you're going to have to share quite a bit of real estate, but at the end of the day, you could fit it if need be. I just wouldn't really go too much more than a 15-minute journey. Taking the 2022 Subaru Ascent Onyx Edition out for our test run. 260 horsepower with 277 pound-feet of torque. The flat four, turbocharged. I mean, it should be enough power. The 0 to 60 numbers pretty much stress that. Performance-wise, you're going to get it whenever you push the throttle. I mean, the 0 to 60 is in the 6-second category, so it is pretty decent. You do sit up higher. I do like that because I feel like I'm in a larger SUV, which you should feel like that because this is the largest vehicle Subaru makes. That being said, when you look in the back, it feels even longer. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is getting about 2 in a part lane. Give it a little go. And give it some braking. The Lineartronic CVT transmission mimics an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is pretty cool. The disadvantage to it though is you can feel that it's like trying to figure out what ratio to get into. The nice thing about Subaru is you have Subaru eyesight, and it detects the vehicles in front of you. When the traffic is moving, if you're not moving with it, because this does have the auto hold, it will alert you saying the traffic's moving, you need to go. Also will apply the braking for you if you are not focused when you're driving and not paying attention. It'll help you do that as well. So I like that with the blind spot monitoring, and you also have the reverse collision assistance as well. If there's an object and you're about to hit it, if it senses it, it should apply the brake. So safety, you know, Subaru's doing a great job with that. We're going to try to get it as straight as possible and give it a little go. It's a very smooth, composed ride. Getting up to a higher speed, it stays very quiet. The steering is going to be a little artificial, but you do feel some of the weight whenever you're taking some turns for some dynamics. Independent suspension, that's also going to help. The nice thing about the Ascent is you don't really hear the exhaust note at all until you hit really a higher RPM, more towards the 3, and everything stays very quiet. And for the price point, I mean, looking at it from the Explorer perspective, this is going to be a lot quieter, smoother ride as well. So I do like that. There is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like about it is, I got to start off with the cup and bottle holders. I mean, you got a total of 19. That is crazy. You have a substantial amount. Comparing it to Honda Pilot, you're going to have more storage in this vehicle. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is the golf ball texture on the exterior, on the whole lower trim of the vehicle. It's awesome because you can get divots. It's very easy because, you know, the materials they put on the vehicles are super thin. But when you have that, you're not going to be worried about any scratches, any divots, nothing. If somebody throws their door into it, more than likely they're going to hit that and it's going to protect it. The last thing that I like about the vehicle, water repellent seats. It's great because I've had it happen, and I'm sure everyone else has as well, where you're driving along and maybe your passenger or from the cup holder, you ultimately spill a drink. You don't have to worry about it here. Water repellent, just wipe it up. It's not going to make a stain. From a stop point, three things that I dislike about the vehicle starts with the power tailgate. It is very sensitive. It took sometimes 3 to 5 minutes to get it to close because of maybe the headrest in the third row, or maybe one of my bags was just touching a little bit. It's just very sensitive. The second thing that I dislike is this center area here. There's just a lot going on, and Subarus are known to be more simple. In the Ascent, they kind of go a little bit outside of that and say, you know what, let's just throw information here. We'll throw the touch screen here, the driver cluster, we got the air vents, we got just a lot going on. It almost makes it like an airplane, and it does make it a little bit distracting for the driver. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is they don't really add a lot of luxury amenities until you start getting near a $50,000 price point. This vehicle is not near that. However, it's close enough, and you're still lacking soft materials pretty much throughout the door. It's not as hard and firm, it's just a lot of rubbery materials, and I would like to see maybe some leatherette, or just keep that same material that's in the seats, or even here where you're resting your arms, because the water repellent, the StarTech material, it's actually pretty good. But for an everyday vehicle, getting in and out of things, it's not too over the top in the length. I mean, you're under 190-ish inches, so you're pretty good with that. You do have a pretty decent amount. When you push the throttle, it takes you about 2 to 2200 RPM for that turbo to really kick in. Then once it gets in, it's ready to rock and roll. Gas consumption isn't necessarily that bad for a 7-passenger vehicle. The captain chairs is a nice attribute too, because you can move them back and forth. And for the drive, I mean, the seats are comfortable. I do wish that they had some power adjustment for the passenger, but I mean, I understand what we're doing because you have to keep going up the tier. I like to thank Subaru North Tampa for giving us this 2022 Subaru Ascent Onyx Edition for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, the website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.